Hello and welcome to The Life You're Made For. I'm your host, Dr. Heather Pinney. Often our world feels reactive, confusing, and chaotic. On this show, we're going to slow down together. Take a breath, listen, and learn. We'll be joined in conversations with influential thinkers who will help us make new connections, understand our unique potential, check the beliefs we hold, and learn how to overcome unexpected challenges. I know that each and every one of us holds our own inner clarity, confidence, and courage, what I call 3C living and leading. So let's go after it together. I'm cheering you on. To dive deeper into the tools we discussed today, join the Grace Space Collective by subscribing to my emails. Go ahead and head on over to heatherpinney.com right now to get a free preview of my book, Grace Space, delivered to your inbox. Now let's get started. Hello, everyone. It is so good to be back with you all. And I have, again, one of my favorite people, because I'm getting to interview a lot of my favorite people. And have been in this series of interviewing all these people that I've known for not just a couple of years, but decades. So here I have Michelle Riddell, which we have been friends and colleagues and associates. And she's now on my team, which I am super excited about. But this is Michelle Riddell. Michelle, say hi to everybody.
Hello, everyone. It's good to be here.
So let me tell you a little bit about Michelle. She serves in leadership and management roles, small, medium business companies, and nonprofit organizations. Typically, the executive leader comes to her because they don't have the capacity to work on strategies to grow their own products and services. And she gets asked to lead the end-to-end execution. Boy, I've experienced that personally with her being on my team where I couldn't quite hold everything. And she was helping me get it from A to Z. And I was always like, I think I know from A to B, but I don't know A to Z. So she's helped me from C to Z to get there. She brings over 25 years of experience and expertise in her digital strategies, business operations, customer service, and technology innovation. And she was so successful in the field. I'm going to add a little bit to your bio here, Michelle, because I know you. She was so successful in the field, she was able to go independent and do freelance. And that's always a good sign. That means that someone has really learned the ropes, earned credibility, and decided that they're ready to kind of make a shift to own some of their own business strategies and entrepreneurial skills. And she's opened her own freelance business. And I just love the direction that her work has taken her. And then on a personal side, she lives with her husband, Eric, on a wooded property in Southwest Washington. I would love to see that one day. A fun fact about Michelle is that she got to co-lead a whitewater rafting trip through the Grand Canyon in 2021. I did not know that about you, Michelle.
Yeah, I did.
So welcome. Welcome so much. And let's start there. I want to hear a little bit more about the whitewater rafting trip before we jump into the topic today that we want to talk about.
All right. So, having also lived in California, Northern California, whitewater rafting it's a recreation. And so my husband and I thought, what would be like an impossible dream? And we thought the Grand Canyon, not seeing it from the top, but really being on the Colorado River. So we won the lottery. And after that, we were like, so now what? So we led 15 of our friends and family members on 223 miles rowing through the Colorado River. So my husband rowed our raft, and there were 7 other rafts. And what co-leading means was we didn't hire anybody. We actually brought everybody together and planned everything from food, safety, and having fun, and how to make it through every point. So it was just so glorious, Heather, to just literally unplug. But what was interesting was I actually wrote a journal. What you can learn, what leadership lessons you can learn from whitewater rafting. I mean, there really is so much to do with when you're working on something that seems impossible, something you've never done. And my husband and I collaborated, banded together. And then it really was just, it cannot be repeated because these same group of people will not come together.
Right.
But what I can say is there was an experience that really was magical. If you've never been to the Grand Canyon, it is, take a look at photos online. It does not do justice. Being there is truly one of a kind. So I got to do that for 17 days.
Oh my goodness.
Days,
That's amazing. And if you ever do it again, I really want to be called. I think Darren and I would love that.
We will call on you. Yeah.
So thanks so much for joining me. And thanks for starting with that fun fact, because I love that. And we love the outdoors. Darren and I love it. And I do think it makes your soul come alive. And I think it's the heartbeat for what we do. And I know you and I have talked about just how important that is for our quality of life. And as we both believe that leadership starts from within, it's recognizing taking care of yourself first before you step into other people's worlds and the spaces that we live and lead in. What does it look like to take care of ourselves? And for us, I know it's outdoor, and then even to add that flair of an adventure. I mean, that's just like a cherry on top to be able to do that. And then a third cherry on top would be the having friends and community to join you. So it sounds like it was a real restorative practice that just helped you just click out of your work and your life and move into a totally different space that gives you the restorative rest that I like to talk about.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, today I asked you to come on here because I wanted to get your thoughts on this next generation. I know you've worked a lot with this, and just for context, we're in our middle ages, and we're kind of in the we're sandwiched in the middle. We have just a deep care for the new generation coming behind us to mentor to them and develop them and help prepare them, and also to learn from them. We also have a care for the sages in our communities that we also get to learn from. So we're in a kind of a unique place to learn from both sides, and maybe even at times bridge the gap. But I guess I want to jump in there. Your experience with mentoring Gen Zs, but when you and I were talking about the show notes, we're like, let's talk about not just how they survive life, but how they thrive life. I love that standard that you have. So why don't you jump in there and just share a little bit about your experience with that?
Yeah, I'll have to say that if you're a young person listening to this, a young professional, somebody in your 20s, there are people in your lives that will shape you. And I would say that was me. In my 20s, I sort of like, I had my goal fall in my lap. So I was going to go through college, and after graduating, I will have a job. But there were people that guided me in my college journey to say, you can actually design your life. And that is where I believe it's not just a job, but what is a job that you will jump out of and actually propel you into the future? So I have since poured into younger people. So I get involved in universities, panels, career fairs, and so forth. And I have had the privilege of actually mentoring some young aged people launching in their career. And so to me, I'm with a perspective to just say that for both the guide, those of us who are sharing, there's something to learn to continue to do the 3 C's living by seeing it from the younger person's perspective, and also the younger person to just say, hey, there is somebody here that is no agenda. I'm going to get on the phone with you or sit in a cafe with you or drink boba tea. I don't know wherever you are in the world, but boba tea is a big thing in the West Coast. So we would sit and just say, and at first it would be like, there's got to be an agenda, right? Because I think the Gen Zs, especially nowadays with the age of AI, there's what is real, what is true. You don't even know. You could be logged into your social media and it's like, that could have been artificial intelligence generated, but this is real. I am in front of you. I am Michelle, and this is what I bring, and I don't know everything, but I will ask questions to get you maybe looking at things, because really the answer is already within you. And so that actually starts, what do you mean the answer is already within me?
Love that.
Or some flavor of that. So one of the things I will say, I'll start with a story, was a young lady about 3 years ago graduated, found me on LinkedIn of all things, because I had an association with her university. And she took a bold step and contacted me as, would love to have, 20 minutes with you. Lesson one for anybody, no matter what it is, take that bold step, ask, because no doesn't hurt. And so, of course, I was like, who is she? And I was so curious. We got on the phone. And then I started asking what's your goal? Oh, I'd love to land a job. Okay. Where? Seattle, back where I could live with my family and friends. And so I then dared her to say, write your dream check. What, me, Michelle? No, like, go ahead and find a template online and your dream check. And I said, put that on your wall as you interview, because that's your compass. And then, of course, I kept in touch with her. And a couple more phone calls later, we shaped what that would mean, because there's a way to go after something that is sort of, shooting the right direction, but not really finding the focus. So we went through that, and lo and behold, she found a company of her discipline.
Oh, wow.
She called me ahead of time. Could you like send positive vibes my way? I said, I will do more than that. You got 5 minutes? Let's focus you in on that dream check, whatever. She got the job.
Oh, that is awesome.
Within 14 months, she was promoted.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And now I see her. She and I keep in touch. She's on LinkedIn, and she's moving on. So honestly, that clarity.
Yes.
Right? What is it that you want?
Yeah.
What is it that you want?
Yeah.
And sometimes, I believe for younger adults, it's what is it they should be? What is it they need to take the next step? But there's a difference between shoulds, needs, and wants. And I think the clarity that you have afforded me in this practice of 3 C's living is, it's really choose your mindset. And as mentoring that Gen Z, I'm thinking about her is, what is it that you want? Dare to be bold and go after it.
Right.
Because the worst case is you'll learn.
Yeah.
You'll learn from it.
Yeah.
You didn't actually get there, but you took the journey because you declared what you wanted.
Right. Okay. So as you were talking, first of all, I was inspired. And then I was thinking about some of the exercises you've given me, and I've loved them. But we can only mentor and lead up to what we've experienced. So that's a pretty audacious way to mentor, because it requires a bit of faith. It requires the fact that they hold that clarity within them. It requires calling them out maybe to something that they've never done before. And we risk them maybe not getting it and being disappointed. But there's something that you have lived through and experienced that created a kind of a sacred place of, oh, I know this works. So I have to pivot there. I have to ask you, Michelle, what has happened in your life and your own personal experience that made you mentor her in this way, and you could hold it with her because she hasn't lived as long as you have, and you were giving her a new way to think. Where was it that it changed your way of thinking so that you were able to offer that to her?
Yeah. So a couple of things that just to base the framework of the way I think about this, or I have a conversation with a younger professional, is this: every moment is a choice. Not every moment is a decision. So what's the difference between a choice and a decision? A decision is based on facts. We decide because we know this, that, and here's the context, what we've had. Decisions are what runs businesses and corporations. This like data-based decisions or quality-based decisions, that's wonderful. When it comes to, I think, our personal development or professional development, it's about choices. Here's the thing. A choice is based on nothing. It is really, the way I put it is, a choice doesn't come with instructions. It takes courage. So if I were to say, I don't know everything, but what choice can I make now that leads to one of two paths? One is I'll go ahead and take a risk and maybe chance to take that change, the opportunity, willingness to take it, or wait, hold on. I'm just going to sort of think about it some more. Think about it some more. Ask somebody. And that choice itself is for you to own. It's okay. But then you have another choice. And so for those that have actually sought out to have a conversation with me, I would say those are young professionals who are willing to dare and take that risk. Because when that risk is taken, then you can just say, what did I learn? And that's sort of a pathway thinking of, okay, choices, you take a step and pathway. And then because I don't disappear. And I think that's this is more sort of parking lot. If there's if there is somebody in our lives that we're mentoring or trusting us in their path to life, is check in with them. And so as I would is like, oh, have I checked in with this person that I've been mentoring? And then, because really it's this leadership development is not a solo journey. It's not solo. It does require some partnership, some collaboration, people pouring into others. So, for example, you had mentioned, wow, you're learning so much from me. That wasn't the case in our relationships earlier, but I just feel so blessed that we are now able to sort of mutually find growth in each other.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's what it is that I'm hopefully modeling so that when these young professionals are older, they're going to remember, oh my gosh, there were a couple of people, including Michelle Riddell, when I was younger, that really invested in me. No strings attached.
Well, you're right on. Yeah. That's why we partnered together. I did have the honor of coming alongside you when you were in the middle of transition. And I just so admired how you handled that and how you waited for the clarity and the confidence. And I emphasize this so much as a coach. You want to wait before you take action. And that's the courage piece. A lot of times the world tells us this flip. Just jump, take a leap of faith. I'm not a fan of that. I'm a fan of get your clarity first, get your confidence first. And then based on your clarity and confidence, then you're ready to take that leap. And it's going to feel really more from peace and not from striving. It's going to feel more from a confidence and a clarity versus confusion and just fear and anxiety. And so I think that's why I'm so excited about you mentoring our next generation and honestly partnering with me, because we both believe in this. I can think of so many talks we've had even recently where I am taking some newer risks, but you and I are both keeping a pulse on, wait a minute, Heath, do you have your clarity and your confidence yet? And I'm like, yes, I do in this area, not in this area. I can feel that process that you and I are working out together. And even that protection of don't jump until you're ready, Heath, don't jump till you're ready. But also a little bit of that gentle nudge that says, it's time to jump. You got your clarity and your confidence. It's time to jump. And so I feel that give and take, that yin yang back and forth. And it's so much what our next generation needs. And it reminds me of just a couple of weeks ago, I've had several mothers wanting me to help step into the conversations and coaching with their daughters. So I did a whole retreat with mothers and daughters a couple of weeks ago, and happened to be when my daughter was at home. So we got to all step into that together. And here's the powerful thing is my research was on the 18 to 25-year-old and how they transition. What we were noticing is that they were doing it much more awkwardly, and they were spiraling down into depression, anxiety, much more than we really wanted to see. And so that was a lot of where I started coaching. Honestly, I thought I'd be working more with this newer generation to help set them up for success as they stepped in their world. What I'm realizing is that all of that research that I learned from that was transferable to any age. However, it was really fun to come back and do a full circle moment and really step into that conversation that nurtures inner clarity, nurtures inner confidence, and then kind of looking at them and saying, okay, what's the action you want to take on that? But it's not you and I pushing them out of the plane with their parachute on. It's not that kind of thinking. It's more of like, you ready to jump? You got your parachute on. You're ready to jump. Yeah. We got the jump zone. We've talked about it. We've put the date on. You've got the training. You ready to jump? And sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes it's no, but it's always learning how to respect that clarity and confidence before they jump into just that courage action space.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes in knowing the context of the individual or the group of young leaders that I'm having conversation with, it's the size of the next step. That next step that they can see, because I can see the possibilities, but they cannot see it. So I believe a way to break through is, what is that next step that you can see yourself taking? And then making sure that there's enough of a reality in it that it can be achieved. Because it's those small, because when that's achieved, that's a small win. The internal motivation to take the next step increases. So I'll give you another example of another mentee that I am working with. This mentee switched industries, and when we met, she was just beginning her job and really wanted to, of course, prove herself in this new organization. And I think one of the things that really struck out was I could sense her wanting to be reasonable and wanting to fit in. And I said, what happened to that other person I met before this job? What's your next bold step? And it really, I can just see that there was a commitment to assimilate into the organization, not appear to be the know-it-all, because she is the lowest person in the totem pole, if you will. So there were some competing commitments in her mind. Is that resonating?
Yes.
She was committed to the organization and being a team player, but she was also committed to her own professional growth and her ability to really grow and eventually have a bigger name in this area of discipline. So there's just this opposing commitments that we were going to work through. So things that were coming out was, well, I need more information before I take I needed to go through my training, Michelle. Oh, okay, I got it. I'm concerned about what my boss is going to think about me. After all, we've only had one one-on-one meeting, and appearance to be reasonable and fair. And this is where we pivoted on this, was like, okay, here's what we're going to do. Come back to me with 3 qualities that you believe will serve you in this time. And I would kind of anchor that to the courage part. And so she said, she came back with this: I am a patient, disciplined, and gentle woman. All right. Patient, disciplined, gentle. They all meant something to her. So I said, here's what happens when you're getting this non-peace. You mentioned, clarity and confidence and courage comes with peace. When you're in non-peace, ask yourself, what would a disciplined woman do? That will help you make the choice. Or what would a patient woman do? Or what would a gentle woman do? Because each of these words means something. And then we said, okay, put that as a Post-it everywhere. I said, okay, try that for 2 weeks. Come back to me. He said, oh, wow. Instead of sort of going to this anxiety, instead of going into this, I don't know, the anchor was, I am. I am a this. And I think one of my encouragement for those listening to this podcast is, what are the qualities that you are stepping into today? Anxiety is real. I'm not going to discount it. Is something in the horizon that really will challenge us, and challenge is going to always be there. Then there's that, as I work with my mentees, is now what? Are you going to step into, paralysis? And that's okay if you call me. We'll talk through it. Or there are certain truths about you. This mentee is patient, is disciplined, is gentle. Can I tell you what my personal statement is right now?
Yes.
Okay. I am a creative, savvy, and healthy woman.
I love that. I am a creative, healthy, and savvy woman. I love that.
And so I do what I explain to people. I do what I explain to my mentees. And there's something powerful about this. Heather, because I believe because you step into these qualities of leadership, you change the energy in the space you walk in. You taught me that.
Yeah.
I can't, in a meeting, you remember this?
Yeah.
Several times. I would say, Heather, this is a 911 coaching call. I'm stepping into this big meeting, and you're like, what is the energy you're bringing into that space? And you walk me through a methodology. I don't think we have time for that, but I distilled it to this was, Heather, you asked me to step into a true belief about myself. There are 3 things I believe true about myself now. I am creative, I am savvy, and I am healthy. So for those listening, what are those 3 things? I am a blank, 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 and blank, or man or woman.
I love
Try
it.
it out.
I love that.
Try it out for the next month.
Well, I'm making a connection of where I'm at right now. And let me start with this. Anxiety can be a gift because it's telling us we're living incongruent with our I ams. And so I always teach people, but this was a moment for me to practice what I teach is I was feeling anxiety in my own business, but I was feeling that temptation to just push through it, to ignore it, and why? I didn't want to deal with the why. I didn't want to disappoint anyone. I was afraid I wouldn't know what I was supposed to do. And it was at that point that I needed to just sit down and explore it, but I realized I needed help. And Darren sat down with me and just said, let's separate everything out you're doing. The bottom line is I knew instinctively I was doing too much. And he goes, let's put these in 2 categories. He goes, what is really enhancing your work and your business development, and what is really a hobby? It was so powerful when I started putting things in these 2 categories. And I realized I was doing some things in my work and saying yes to it, but it really was a hobby. But I didn't want to be doing that hobby, if that makes sense. There's things outside of my work I want to be doing with close friends, adventures, taking our camper van out, the hanging out with my adult children. People know I love doing art. These are my true hobbies. And so what I had to do is get just back in the driver's seat and say, okay, I am choosing my hobbies wisely. And the anxiety was cueing me that was saying, hey, you're giving too much away in your practice and you're doing a lot because you love it, but it's taking up that space that restores you outside of your work, and you're replacing it with your work, and you're trying to act like that's working, and it's not working, because we need that work-life harmony that says, I'm going to do so much in my workspace, but I'm going to step away. I mean, even before we got on the call, I was joking with you. I was like, did you see my email? And you're like, I glanced at it, but then I went and sat down and watched a movie with my husband. I loved that response because it was a Sunday night. I was like, I hope you didn't delve into it, because I was going off on some really cool manifesto that I was thinking through. And so it's that awareness of saying, you know what you need in your off time, and you know what you need on your work time. But if we just keep pushing through with that anxiety, we're missing the clarity and the confidence that we need to take a courageous action. And to be honest, all that did was just do a little shift in my work that put a new boundary down. And I could already feel, not only is the anxiety gone, I can feel the energy rising. I'm excited about this new year. I was starting to dread the new year. And I'm like, that's not me. I love the work that I do. But there was a certain thing I needed to get off my plate that was not serving me in my business. And frankly, it was taking up the space I wanted to give more in my personal life.
Yeah. And maybe there's a misnomer that for you to thrive, there will be very little, zero anxiety, very little things that you wouldn't be motivated to do. You would have just truly have the understanding for what's the next step. And I believe that's truly a misnomer. Anytime we take a step for change. Anytime I step out of my comfort zone, if you will, it produces that level of anxiety that you have just mentioned. And there's just some typical signs that my body gives me: butterflies, I can't sleep, or I overindulge in caffeine. So being self-aware and then evaluate, okay, there's these signals. And now that I am much older, I then know to slow down will help me speed up later.
I love
So
that.
that's one of the things I think I impart to our younger leaders and the younger people in our life is put into practice to be able to slow down. This is our swing, Heather.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, and then using that time to intentionally check in to just say hello to that anxiety. As you know, what put a name to it. Keep discovering the why, and then there'll be a point where it no longer has that hold on me. It is there. Now I can then choose the next best thing for me that will serve me, that is in alignment with what I want.
Yeah.
It's just, I've learned to realize that those moments are indicators.
Yes. Yes.
Our body is actually giving us indicators to check in. Is the fuel, do we need to put it, more fuel into the body? Or are we going so fast that we've got to be able to just reduce and simplify those kinds of things?
Yeah, I love that you brought that up. And I love your phrase, say hello to your anxiety, because I think we have spent a lot of time, resources, energy, and even research on how to manage and suppress anxiety. I would like to be a little bit more of an advocate that says, I think our anxiety is trying to tell us something. How do we listen to it? How do we honor it? How do we recognize it in our body? And I think for me in this case too, how do we let go of some of the false beliefs? Not only was I feeling the fatigue of my work running my personal life more and kind of creeping over in there and not giving me the restorative rest that I needed, but I was really engaged in that false belief of, I got to figure this out on my own. The reality is I wasn't getting anywhere with it. I was just starting to spin with, I can't figure out what it is. I might as well just keep pushing. I hope it'll get better, and I've lived long enough to go, that's never going to end well. So I slowed it down. I remember inviting you into it and said, hey, can you help me look at some numbers here? Invited my husband into it. And it was after inviting in some trusted advisors and guides in my life that I was able to go, I got the clarity. And let me just speak carefully to that. When you invite people in, you want people, first of all, you want to know what you're inviting them into. You want clarity on, hey, Michelle, here's where I need some help. Hey, Darren, here's where I need some help. Here's where I'm scared. Here's where I'm nervous. Here's where my anxiety is starting to flare. And it's not that you're telling me what to do. It's not that my husband was telling me what to do, but there was this, okay, what do you need in order to get your clarity? And I had to tell you, I think I need to see the numbers on some things. And then I had to tell my husband, I think I just need to sit down with you for a couple minutes and not a couple minutes, like an hour or two. And I need you to help me think through this. And when he asked this poignant question, he said, Heather, I'm going to just put two categories here. You've got a lot, and this has always been my problem. So I love saying yes, you've got a lot you're saying yes to. And let's just start separating out what you want to say yes to in your professional life and what you want to say yes to in your personal life. Because if you don't have a very clear filter of what you're saying yes to, you're going to miss something that you really want to miss. And in my case, it's usually I'm over saying yes in my professional life. And so he knows this about me. And he knows that I don't want to do this. But I also know it's a weak spot where it's hard for me to pull up or get out of it, particularly when it's all wonderful things. It's easy to say no to toxic stuff or unhealthy stuff. My challenge and the shadow side of what I call success is like, wow, I want to say yes to all of that. All of it sounds so cool, but I can't say yes to all of it. And so I've had to create clearer filters so that I'm not just saying yes, 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 just because I'm excited about the idea. Part of my self-discipline is saying, oh, I love that thought, or thanks for inviting me. Let me think about it. What I'm really saying is let me go back, see if this is bringing me anxiety or peace. Let me get my clarity around it. Let me check my false beliefs, my true beliefs. Am I saying the pull to say yes because I don't want to disappoint you? Am I saying the pull to say yes because I want to, maybe I'm feeling insecure and I want some kind of validation out in the world and I don't want it to be doing it for those reasons? Why am I saying yes? And then more importantly, why might I need to say no? That all comes from clarity in the confidence process. So when you get to the courage, it's just more about taking that action and finding your voice. And I don't want to say just because I've seen people stay stuck and all my fingers pointing back we've stayed stuck in the clarity and the confidence space. And I remember working with the clients once and I said, listen, you have all the clarity you need and all the confidence you need, but you are not stepping into your courage and taking action. If you don't do that, it's only going to create more anxiety for you. So you cannot delay the action step in the courage space.
Yeah. The commitment to take action is really one of those things where, let me just use an analogy. I remember, or a story. I remember when I was about 13 and I've never been on a roller coaster. And finally, we were at the amusement park in Vallejo, California, Six Flags. And it was the moment I was either going to get in line with my cousins or sit it out and watch them. And it really was more, gosh, I get to do this. And I got on, and I remember that first dip and the exhilaration I felt to say, hey, I took that step. It wasn't so bad. Okay, we're going to actually spend the rest of the day riding more of these roller coasters. And that's being able to take action is not knowing all the facts. It really is to know that you are whole. So here's another thing is I am whole and I am able to do this. So never mind all of those, that noise that says I'm not enough. I need to do preparation. Do it. And then, and taking that step, because only in those steps that what you're saying, can we develop the new competencies that we need that then kind of rearranges the confidence that we have. By definition, anything new and change means we're not fully competent in it. We are stepping into something new.
Yes.
And so it does take that step. It's physically, if you will, taking one foot forward and then the other foot follows. It's one complete step.
I love that. I love that you brought up the competency, because you're right. Sometimes we say, oh, I'm feeling anxiety, I can't do it. And then I have to push a little harder as a coach. And I'm like, okay, are you feeling uncomfortable because this is out of your comfort zone and this is a new competency? Or are you feeling uncomfortable because it's trying to tell you to pull back? And what I love about working with humanity is people are honest with me. They're like, ugh, I'm just nervous about taking that step. And I can tell it's out of my comfort zone. And I'm like, okay, then we know what we need to do. How do I help you take that first complete step? And then the step after that. And then the step after that. Or sometimes it really is, now that I'm thinking about it, I can't say yes to this because it will really impact something that I'm really valuing in my life. And this isn't congruent with my life. And so again, it's going back to, and I love that you started this conversation, we hold all of this inside of us. So it's not about us coming along as mentors and advisors in people's lives to tell them, this is your clarity, this is your confidence, this is your courage. It's to pull it out in them, slow down life long enough to help them focus on the right questions. Sometimes they're prematurely saying, how should I act? How should I step out? Where should I take action? And you and I are both saying the mentoring process and the coaching process requires, hang on, before we take those steps, let's check our clarity, let's check our confidence, and then we'll be ready for our courage. And I can't tell you how many times I've changed my mind on action steps. I remember even sitting down with this meeting with Darren, and I thought, I already know what I want to do. And I felt that pull to convince him. And then I was like, wait. This is not a pitch that you're trying to get your husband. This is an authentic process you want to get his insight on. And he knows me better than anyone else. And within the first 15 minutes, I knew. But I was shocked by my clarity. I was already, and that was part of where I was getting stuck. I wanted to take action in this other area. I wanted that to be the right answer. But in reality was, no, I needed to release. And we talk about trust versus fear in Grace Space. I needed to trust what my inner voice was telling me. And I needed to stop fearing that it wasn't what I wanted it to be, or what I thought it should be, or what others were telling me it should be. It was me starting to say, no, I got to own this inner voice. And then having, people in my corner to say, oh yeah, I'm glad you told me, because we want to support you owning that inner voice.
Yeah. With Gen Zers, the wonderful thing is they have a lot of resources that processes what we've talked about in the last few minutes. And this is feedback for universities and other institutions that have programs that shape Gen Z and their trajectory. And my feedback is, my observation, first of all, is that there's a focus a lot on how you can get to that career, how you can, or in a micro level, is how do you interview for a job? How do you acquire these skills? I believe my feedback is we're starting in the wrong spot. Again, repackaging what I've learned from 3C's living is this. The beginning part of the Gen Z life is beginning to wrestle with, who am I? The identity part. And if mentoring means really just helping them ask the right questions, the self-discovery about who am I, and then they'll know what their next part, their next milestone, their journey, and dare I say, their purpose or calling. Because then those two things, identity and where I'm going now, what I want, it then allows you to make the right choices. I'm not using the word decision, the right choices.
Choices.
Because again, choices means I have facts. Excuse me, decisions mean I'm going on facts, but really it's around choices. So to me, to thrive is continuing back to, okay, who am I and what do I want? And because I'm unique, what I want can actually be in synchrony and coexistence with what Heather wants and what another person wants. What I want, it doesn't take away from what another person wants. It really is an inner motivation for where I'm going, and then continuing that on and on. So I guess I might have stepped out on a limb, but I think that's the thing I've seen with young Gen Zers is they actually want to talk about who they are.
Yeah.
And not who they are as a daughter, a son, somebody who is attending this institution. It is who they are, the heart posture, right? What's going on in them. And beginning to discover that and see how it changes over time, depending on the season and their of life that they are in. One of my mentees is now going to the season of, I just got married. Now what? And their identity is changing.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you. And it's just wonderful to be in their life.
Oh, yes. Yeah. We'll just wait till maybe possibly motherhood or anything else. It's just, that's the beauty of all the different seasons of life, is that if you have this skill set, you're asking questions that take you back to your clarity and your confidence. And that's why I coach the way I do. I want it to be sustainable. It doesn't matter what transition you're going through. You've learned a skill set to say, I got to check my clarity. I got to check my confidence. Michelle, this has been an awesome conversation. I think as we wrap up here, I just want to ask you, what encouragement do you want to leave? And it's twofold. The people that are working with our Gen Zs and our Gen Zs herself. What kind of encouragement do you want to offer our listeners?
Yeah. I want to encourage listeners to build experiences that boost their resilience. Build experiences that boost your resilience. What I mean by that is us living life as we start this month, this year, this quarter, these experiences that we bring feeds back into our development. And so we can always discover, learn, and then take a look at that to just say, all right, well, that really, this is what happened. These are the results, or these are the non-results. And then over time, the resilience, what I mean is having the tough skin, the tougher skin to then realize, all right, next time I'm taking that next big leap outside my comfort zone, I've done it already. And it looks different, but I am a resilient person, leader, to then take the next step. That's something that for example, let's go back to my whitewater rafting trip.
Mm-hmm.
Never in my wildest dreams. So first of all, if you look at the statistics and what it takes to go on a river for 223 miles where there is no 911, there's really, you've got to be self-sufficient. It was such a huge experience for me to understand how to survive. One is safety. Let me just rephrase that. Safety. And then building on top of that is how to have fun. Oh my gosh. Oh my. It was truly an epic adventure. And I think about it as, there's the leadership hyperlink of what I did as a co-lead, right? Here is the integration into the rest of my life. Because I cannot undo that memory of rafting the Colorado River through the Grand Canyon. That's what I mean by experiential learning to boost your leadership resilience.
I love that. I love that. And I think I'll add on to that. And I think about Grace Space, the essence and the heartbeat of Grace Space is curiosity and compassion. So as you're building your resilience, stay curious with yourself, stay compassionate with yourself. And in doing so, you will offer curiosity about other people and you'll offer compassion toward other people. But it all starts from within. Wow. Thank you, Michelle. Thanks for taking the time to come on and share your wisdom with us. Thanks for your friendship over the years. Thanks for modeling so much of this. Again, I keep saying, I'm bringing on people that I know that I've watched them. They're doing it. They're doing the work. They're not just talking about it. So there's an authentic presence that you have. And I appreciate having you in my life and even on my team at this point.
It's been wonderful having this conversation with you, Heather.
Oh, thanks, Michelle. And do you want to say it toward the end? You know how I end every podcast? We are cheering you on.
Cheering you on. We are definitely cheering you on.
Yeah, we are cheering you on. Michelle is probably the biggest cheerleader, and I've watched her do it with myself and with others. And we really both are cheering you on. And so wish you all the best out there and just continue moving forward as you grow your clarity, your confidence, your courage. Take care, everyone. Did today's episode resonate with you? Rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And don't forget to subscribe to receiving emails at heatherpenny.com so you never miss a moment of growth. Cheering you on.